All right. Hello and welcome, everyone. My name is Ryan McCombs, and I'm here. I'd like to go over some of the pre-course survey results with you guys and kind of make a short-ish. In all reality, it'll probably be like 20 or 30 minutes video, but hopefully not, but maybe, about some of your concerns, some of the issues that you're thinking about, and just kind of address some of these things and hit some highlights here. So again, here we are on our Math 234 page. If you have not taken the pre-class survey, again, it's worth some extra credit. It's worth 0.5%. So between this and the post-course survey, that's kind of the rounding, right? If you do these things, you get a full 1%. And so if you're within 1% of the next higher grade, you can get essentially bumped to that next higher grade. So make sure you do those because you never know, if you're going to be that close and everything. And so it's just a good idea. It's a short survey and everything. And in fact, I have it, right? So I have it over here. It says, right, there's an estimated time length, 15 minutes, but there's no set time length. So you can come here, you can spend as much time here as you want. And you can see there's just, 7 questions, really it's 6 questions and a, hey, I understand sort of deal. And we're gonna go through a few of these things and just kind of hit some highlights or what we were aiming to get from these, emphasize a few things in the syllabus, all that sort of stuff. So that's the purpose of this video here. And so, okay, and I downloaded the results. There's about 400 of you, close to 500 now, actually, of you that have taken this already. And so there's a lot of, there's a lot of lines of this sort of stuff. I have some information hidden, but I have the results here. And so we can talk about some of these things. In fact, we should start with question 1. And so I'll get that ready to go and whatnot. So why don't we go through this a little bit? Where are you staying this fall? So again, kind of the main thing is we want to know time zones issues, right? And kind of how much is this going to influence things? How much should we be thinking about this and worrying about this? And it seems like a fair number of you are, in Michigan area or at least the Eastern time zone. But I mean, we definitely do see some that are well outside of this. And so I guess the big thing that I want to highlight from this, so here's another one, China and whatnot. The big thing that I want to highlight from this is in the syllabus, right? So in the syllabus, the only thing that really has a set time, of course, right, the classes, the recitations, they have set times, but those are going to be kind of, the classes will be recorded. The recitations, there's kind of alternatives to these, posting on Piazza or getting help with MLC or office hours or things like this. But the one thing that doesn't have this kind of flexibility built in are the exams, right? The exams are 8 to 9 p.m. on these kind of very specific days that are in the schedule, and we have them listed on D2L as well. 8 to 9 p.m., that's Eastern Standard Time. And we kind of want to see, right, if you are going to be falling in one of these horrible situations, like if the exam falls at, 4 a.m. for you or something like that, that would be a little bit annoying. And so, yeah, those with extreme and unique circumstances, you can request an alternate time to take the exam. So make sure you do this. You need to do it at least 1 week before because we have to get it all set up. We have to make alternate versions of the exam, stuff like that. So that was really kind of the big thing about this is just making sure that you're seeing this and that if you have a big conflict, right, please let us know. Please sign up for an alternate exam. We can get this taken care of. If you wait until the day before or something like this, it's going to be a lot harder. We may not be able to do it. So please, might as well get that taken care of now, right? Unless if you think you'll be moving or something, but get that taken care of sooner rather than later. All right. Have you seen any Calculus 3 before? This is an interesting question. I've started to skim the answers and everything, and it seems like largely the answer is no, or maybe a tiny bit. I mean, sure, there's a few students here and there that are like retaking the class and things like this, but by and large, the answer is no. Except for maybe, if you did a little bit of YouTube searching or Khan Academy or things like this. But, right, and why I say that's interesting is because when I teach Calculus 1, something that you do basically the first day of classes, you say, raise your hand, and this is back when we had live classes and all that sort of stuff. Raise your hand if you've seen some Calculus 1 before, and roughly, 80% of the class raises their hand, right? They've seen some Calculus before. And so we just kind of wanted to get a little bit of a gauge here on where everyone's at and making sure that we're pacing the class appropriately, or at least as appropriately as we can. Next up, right, what's one thing that we as instructors can do to help you learn on this online format? And of course, we get kind of the scattershot of answers, really good answers, by the way. Let me show you some of them, and we can hit some highlights here. And again, there are many, many of these, and there's a lot of overlap as well. So we'll just kind of go through a few of these, and anything that kind of rings a bell, we'll kind of, I'll say a few words about and emphasize and whatnot. So things like, oh, here's a relatively short one, things like answer emails. Yes. So kind of related to this is certainly, right, we have Piazza, and Piazza is great, and I really recommend it, right? Because instead of, when you send an email to one person, you're waiting for one person to respond. But when you put a post on Piazza, right, all of the TAs get that, all of the instructors get it, right? You get about 10 people who could respond, and all of the students, right? So, depending on what the question is, maybe another student knows the answer. And so posting on Piazza is a great way to get a fast response. I'm really hoping that our average response time here in Math 234 on Piazza, because this is one of the statistics that they give you, right? They just tell you how fast are people responding. I'm really hoping that that's under an hour. That's what we're aiming for. And so, yes, answering emails, we're going to try to do that as fast as possible. But whenever possible, if it's a math question, things like this, you can even do private questions on Piazza that just go to the instructor so that the other students can't see. Piazza is great for that. When it is appropriate to send an email, let me show you here. You have this very nice table on the front page of the syllabus. So on the front page of the syllabus, right, if you just send an email to, one of the people on the teaching team, maybe, the name that appears as the lecturer for your class. So let's suppose that, you're signed up for a section with, M. Shapiro or Jay Wolfson or something like this, right? Those would be excellent people. So that's Misha Shapiro and John Wolfson. Along with Lev, right? These would be excellent people to talk to about the lecture videos and the class notes, because that's what they're developing, right? But do you have something specific about attendance or participation, or things about scores in D2L? Really, you should be emailing someone else. Or if you have technical issues about web work or D2L exams, RCPD, time extension, things like this, right? You should be emailing me, right? And I'm going to be the fastest one to be able to respond to that. That's kind of my job, and I know what to do in those situations. If you email someone else, probably it's going to get redirected several times, hopefully just one time, to me. So that's a big thing there. So this is when it's time, if you want to email someone specific, this is where you should go. We do have projects and whatnot. Shriyar is going to be in charge of that. So yes, this is very useful. But again, if you want to go to just one place consistently and get your question answered, Piazza is going to be great for that. All of us are looking at Piazza. Okay. There's lots more to this. There's really great. This is where you get a lot of great things here. And I'm sad. I mean, if I went through all of them, it'd be hours and hours and hours. So let's see, many different examples and approaches to solving and understanding the work. Yes, so we have multiple class periods, multiple instructors, right? And this is a great place to bring up. So let me go back here. This is as good a place as any, right? So we have two classes, the 1020 to 1110, and then the 150 to 240. And I can tell you up front that the 1020 to 1110, that the instructors for this class are going to have a little bit more theoretical approach, right? They want to, tell you why the formulas that we give you, are the right formulas to use. Why do those formulas work? Why those formulas and not some other formulas? Why is there a 2 there instead of a 3? That sort of stuff. So they want to go into the proofs of all of these things on why is it this way. And that's really great for some deep understanding. They'll do a few examples by all means, but again, it's a 50-minute class, right? So they're going to kind of hit the theory, and then they're going to try to hit a few examples as time permits. The second class right here, the 150 to 240, they're going to, talk a little bit about the theory, but I've been told anyway, the main emphasis is going to be more on the side of problem solving, right? And so I think they both have some great value, and it's going to be kind of up to your style as a learner, right? Which one of these really connects with you? And so they're both going to be posted on D2L. They're both going to be recorded and posted and all that sort of stuff. And so I recommend maybe for the first week or so, kind of taking a look at both of these if your time permits, right? See which one really connects with you. And again, if things get more difficult later on in the semester, math tends to build on itself. But if things get more difficult, you know, try watching both of them, you know, if you have a particularly difficult subject, because again, I think that they're both going to be great as far as one hitting the why, you know, the theory side of things, why the formula this way, and then also getting you multiple examples. And so I think they're both great, and it just comes down to the style of teaching, right? This has always been the case for all instructors forever, right? Some instructors really like to go into the theory. Some instructors really like to hit the examples or the applications. And kind of, we're being a little bit more intentional about it. We wanted to make sure that we had at least one of each flavor here. But yeah, so that's something to be thinking about. Yeah, organization is very important for successful online learning. I can't agree more with that. We're spending a good amount of time thinking about how should things be structured, trying to come up with good systems and organization. We've spent a lot of time on our D2L page. I'm fairly happy with it. It's hard for it ever to be perfect or anything like this. But we've cut out, for instance, everything that's unnecessary in D2L. If you just get kind of one of these blanket D2L pages, you get all of these weird things that you never ever use, right? But here we've whittled it down. For assessments, we have literally the assessments for our class, right? We have homework, we have quizzes, we have exams, we have a project, right? Those are for us. You know, if you want to get help, here's a great place, right? You can go to the Piazza forums, you can go to the Math Learning Center, you can contact one of the instructors directly. So this is where all of our emails and things like that are. You could consider joining a study group. So we're going to facilitate study groups. And then there's even more stuff in here. You get your grades here, you get the content, like where do I go for my notes? So yeah, we've thought a lot about the organization. We're going to have some pretty good announcements each week. Weekly emails and all that sort of stuff. We're going to try to be very organized, and hopefully it's good and people get the hang of it. But there's a lot, right? And so it does take a little bit. I'm not going to say it's going to be perfect right off the bat and you're just going to love it. But I hope that it grows on you anyway. All right, so let's see, maybe just a couple more from this category. Again, I could spend just forever, you know, looking at these. Let's see, more difficult. So we've kind of we've touched on that, the different types of problems during lectures. And so, yeah, the different styles and everything, I think that will really help. Yeah, okay, make sure all of the online working can be open in China with any restriction. So China cannot use Google service like Google Sheets. So yeah, we are kind of working that out of our system to some extent. So I'm going to be posting this video most likely on Google, but then also on Microsoft Stream, and then also on MediaSpace. So there's a couple of these things. I think that what we've been playing with is the Microsoft Stream is maybe where a lot of our videos are going to live. But there are pros and cons to a lot of these things. And so, yes, I definitely want to hear from you. If we do post something on Google, please send me an email, post on Piazza, let me know that this is negatively influencing you. I want to know that. I want to know how many students this is happening to, and so that way we can fix it appropriately. Yes. Help on Piazza, yeah, there's going to be a lot of help. We talked about that. Yeah, more examples. Well, the multiple classes, I think, should help with that. Explain thoroughly, provide comprehensive notes and video lectures. Yeah, it's really nice. One thing that I like about the online class is that, right, these things will be recorded, and so that way you can watch them later. I really like that. You can hit pause as much as you want. You can go back and rewind and really see what people said. I think there's going to be a lot of benefits to this. I like this one, hold more office hours. So however many office hours we were going to have, we'll hold more of them. Yeah, so we're going to set our office hours here soon. We want to have a good distribution. And same thing with the MLC hours. So the GTAs, the graduate students, they're going to be holding MLC hours, and then the lecturers and myself and whatnot are going to be holding office hours. And so just kind of an FYI, let me show you where those will live. And we'll probably have it included in an announcement once we all have it hammered down and stuff like that. But under the Get Help, the 234 teaching team roster, this is where it's going to live. And so you can see there's already a little bit here. We still need more instructors to kind of write a little bit about themselves. You can see the MLC hours actually have been set. And we need to get a link for the MLC. They haven't given us that yet, but as soon as we have that, we'll post that here as well. And then, yeah, so you can see, for instance, my office hours are to be determined. And so we're going to let the dust settle a little bit and then start setting some regular office hours each week. And of course, these things are always by appointment as well. So if there's some office hours that don't work for you and you want to meet, please just send the instructor or whatnot an email. And many times, if they can work it into their schedule, they absolutely will. Yeah, maybe, okay, just one more. So let's do a long one. Wow, this one goes all the way off the page. Have multiple opportunities for students to get help throughout the day. Be patient, understanding. Yes. All incredibly important. One of my classes, times changed when MSU switched all online. Yeah, that happened a good amount. So various times to meet with students. Yes. So we have a pretty good distribution. Right. And I mean, certainly with things being recorded, right? Our lessons being recorded and everything. Even if you cannot make it to class, you can view it on D2L. You can still get full credit, all that sort of stuff. We're going to have lots of office hours and we're going to try to not overlap so much. MLC shifts, we're going to be very good about Piazza, all that sort of stuff. So yeah. Okay. Well, that's a little bit about that. Again, kind of as more of these come in, right? Because like I said, about 500 students or so, there's roughly 1,000 students in the class. As more of these things come in, I may make another video about this, just kind of hitting a few more highlights and whatnot. But I may wait on that a little bit. So, okay, let's jump back here. So question 4, what other commitments do you have? How many hours do you suspect they will take? I mean, certainly I'm expecting everyone to have other classes and things like this. But this is just kind of, again, kind of getting to know you guys a little bit as humans. What other things are you thinking about? And so that's really just more for us. I don't really need to talk too much about that. How many hours per week do you plan on dedicating to Math 234? This is always interesting to see. I always see people way on the low side and then also people who are willing to dedicate as much time as needed in order to get that grade. And so I really love to see that whole spectrum of things. Just kind of an FYI, in the syllabus here, we do have this section called a small warning. And just it says that you should really be thinking about spending, I would say, at least 12 hours per week. Essentially, that's what this says. Maybe some 4 hours for class lessons, between all the lectures, the recitation, maybe 6 hours of homework, and a couple hours of studying each week. Of course, it's been a while since you've seen some math, I think that you should probably up this to probably 14, 15 hours. And the thing that really helps me, and I know people differ wildly on this, and so it's really hard to say that this will necessarily work for you or necessarily work for everyone or anything like that. But I really like my Google Calendar. And of course, everyone has a calendaring system, Microsoft or whatnot. It doesn't have to be Google, but some calendaring system where I can put in there, not only my schedule, but I also like to block off when I have to get stuff done. And so I would block off, an hour or two a week for studying. Right? It's always easy to cancel later, but maybe, put in a couple hours for studying Math 234. Put in specific times when you're going to do your homework, things like this. So for instance, you may have already noticed before even watching this video or whatnot, right? Here it talks a little bit about your web work homework. Web homework, well, of course, the website itself will have the due dates, and that's really the best place to go in case if they happen to change or things like this. I'm very reluctant to post the dates in lots of multiple places because then inevitably one or two of them will be wrong, and then it's just a whole, storm of emails and things like this. And so this is the most reliable, the best place to get what the web work homework due dates are. By the way, those will be opening up first thing tomorrow morning, right? So I'm making this on Tuesday. They'll open up Wednesday morning. There'll be some homework that you can do. But these are typically due Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Sundays. So I would definitely recommend that you schedule some time, Tuesday night, Thursday night, Sunday night, right? Hold that time available for you to finish up your web work homework. Notice that I said finish up your web work homework, right? Not start your web work homework. Please start it before that. Right? You want to make sure to give this some time to digest. If you try to do it all in one sitting, that's great. Maybe you can get it done all in one sitting. But the question really is, how much of it will you retain, right? Because the goal is not to get the homework done. The goal during the homework really ought to be to learn the stuff so that way you can do it on the quiz. Because at least for me, and probably you too, right? In some previous math class, you've come across something, come across a problem on a quiz, and you say, I know that I've seen something just like this in the homework, but I can't remember how to do it, right? So again, the goal is not to get the homework done. The goal is to learn from the homework. And so that should really be your goal. And so you should spread it out because, right, if you just do it all in one sitting, you can't really digest it all, right? It's like if I just went running once and I tried to run as fast as I can, I'm not going to get really fast at running, unfortunately, right? You have to really practice at this. Maybe there's a way that I can turn off notifications. Let's see. I think there is. Oh, no. Manage notifications. They're off already. Darn it. Anyway, well, then sometimes this will blink. Other instructors are talking to other instructors, asking questions. Okay, so that was 4 and 5. Those are kind of the highlights from that. Question 7, again, is just kind of, hey, you need a webcam. I want to make sure that you know that you need a webcam. If you don't have a webcam, or if your webcam, for whatever reason, doesn't work with the Respondus system, please order a webcam now. And now, finally, question 6, kind of a very fruitful, very possibly long category of questions here. Why don't we see what kind of things you have for us, what kind of questions that you're having for us. Please do not make the exam short answer unless you guys are planning on giving us points for trying the examples like everything used to be when we had normal lectures and exams. I don't know what this is fighting for. Is this fighting for all multiple choice? Because I find that many students do not like all multiple choice. So just kind of an FYI from our standpoint, and you probably saw this in the practice quiz, you saw kind of all of the capabilities that D2L has, right? So certainly we could have true, false, we could have multiple choice, we could have some fill in the blank style answers, we could have matching, we could have all this sort of stuff. But the big thing here is that we are planning on having kind of more or less 2 categories when it comes to the quiz and the exams. There will be some things that you can get partial credit for, and there are some things that you can't, like multiple choice and true, false, and kind of all those classic ones. And so let me show you. This is really a good time to go back to the syllabus. And way down here at the bottom, it talks about partial credit on quizzes and the exams, right? So basically, you're looking for anything in the standard problem section. Anything in the standard problem section, if you have some work for it, you can scan it, you can upload it, and we will take a look at it, and we will grant you some partial credit based on your work there. And so there will be, I don't know, well, it's the standard problem section, but again, it could really be anything, probably not so much like true, false, or things like this. But there's going to be some times where we want to see your work. And I think that's an important part of a lot of math. And it's something that we are not really ready to completely write out of our class. So we will be grading things. It's not going to be all just computer graded. We will be looking at your work and giving some partial credit for these things. So again, yeah, make sure you spend a little bit of time here. And you should practice, right? Download a scanning app on your phone and all that sort of stuff, and make sure you know how to use it. More about the exams. Yeah, so this is kind of a very specific case. This is something, maybe reach out to me when it gets a little bit closer to the exam. Please don't have the quizzes and exams be as brutal as spring 2020. Partial credit is where I flourish. All right, so there will be some partial credit. We talked about that. Yep, as right now, MacBook's camera work. So yes, the MacBook's camera does work the Respondus system. At least we had many instances of this working well over the summer. So we did pilot this, and it did work over the summer. If you have a very special situation, well, then we can work on that together. Will in-person office hours be available? So it depends on what you mean by in-person, right? Many instructors will not be going to their office, and we have been extremely encouraged by the College of Natural Science not to hold unnecessary face-to-face meetings. And so if it can be done by Zoom, we're getting a decent amount of pressure to do it by Zoom, just for safety and all that sort of stuff. And so, yes, in person, I mean, there will be face-to-face Zoom meetings available and whatnot, and it's very easy to hook up my tablet and screen share with this and all that sort of stuff. So yes, those will be available, but you probably will not be able to touch me, in person and stuff like this. But you'll be able to see me and all that sort of stuff, so that's fine. Let's see here, where they cannot listen clearly online. I guess I don't know if this is like a very technical issue about you're not sure about your speaker quality or our microphone quality, or if it's just like an intention thing and whatnot. But yeah, there are certainly this is a little bit about learning about yourself as a learner, right? What are some tricks that you can use on yourself in order to pay attention for longer and whatnot? And so, at least in one interpretation of this. And so, I understand that this is difficult. It takes some practice and all that sort of stuff, but try to stick with it. And I think that turning off other distractions like these darn notifications that keep popping up, putting away your phone, things like this, there are certain things that can be done. And the other thing is that they're videos, right? All of these things are being recorded. And so even if you can't pay attention the entire 50 minutes for the live class session, you just say, that's enough for me right now, stick at it, right? Go back to the D2L video, watch that, and then it doesn't matter if you can get it all done in that one 50-minute session. You can get 20 minutes done, and then later on you do another 20 minutes, and then later on you finish it up. That's fine, right? And so that's kind of one of the nice benefits for this. The project, a question about projects. I see that, do I see what the project is before we decide if we want to complete it? Yeah, great. This is an excellent question about the projects. You may have seen in the syllabus that this is an optional thing, and we do have a grading scheme, both if you do the projects and if you don't want to do the projects, right? And so it's fine if you don't want to do them and whatnot. But yes, you do get to see the projects and all that sort of stuff, and it's available now. And so let me go to the assessments projects that has a little bit about it. I guess I should make sure, yeah, no, it is visible and everything. Oh, I don't have this turned on. Yeah, there we go. We can turn it on. So yeah, there was a step missing, apparently. So you can read about the projects and all that sort of stuff. And then here, this one that was invisible for the time being has the list of projects. And so you can go ahead and take a look at these and decide which project you want to do. So yeah, I just made these available 4:41 p.m. You can look at them. You can decide. You can join a project group here. Of course, you should communicate well, all that sort of stuff. And then later on, you'll be able to submit them. And so yes, it's now available. Sorry, I guess I didn't realize that we didn't have this. Just as an FYI, right, as it says here, we're planning on having close to 60 projects total. I think right now we only have 17 listed. More will be added to this list. And so this is just something kind of for the early, kind of our chapter 12 or so, kind of the beginning of the class. You can see that they all have their unique due dates and whatnot. And so, yeah, those do pass and whatnot. So yeah, if you decide to do a project, you can start thinking about it right now. In fact, you can see the first one, it's September 1st. The first one is due September 16th. And so if you want to do some of these early ones here, these are due September 16th. Okay, maybe just one more, and then this is probably a very long video already. Let's just go down here. We'll do that one. Nope, that says none. I'm slightly worried about getting extra help if needed, having issues with this before in other math classes. I don't imagine it'll be a major issue. So yeah, I want to just emphasize again this set of links right here. So we have a whole variety of help options, right? So I think the Piazza forums are great if you have, Ryan has webinar 1000. Oh, I have it. Anyway, I think it's Piazza forums are great if you have relatively short questions. If you have a very conceptual or things where you need to point at stuff and visualize and whatnot, then office hours are going to be better, or going to the Math Learning Center is going to be better. This is all kind of very, this is instructor-student relations right here. I think it's also a really good idea to join a study group, to have other people that you know in this class. Lots of emails, or lots of things. So yeah, joining a study group, having other people to kind of just hang out with, where your topic is Calculus 3. I think that's really great. And I've had a lot of success with that in my college career and everything, because then, maybe if one of you knows it or if one of you gets it, that's great. You can explain it to the other person. And if neither of you gets it, great. That's somehow comforting that you can both go to office hours together. You can both go to the MLC together or something like this, and get this taken care of. So, yeah, sorry, I saw this explicit. Anyway, that's funny. Anyway, good job, Teams, Microsoft Teams, for not having curse words and stuff like this on my video. All right, well, with that, guys, I'm going to go ahead and cut it off there. Thank you so much for watching this and making it through all the way. Stay safe, and please email me, reach out if you have any questions. Post on Piazza. I spend a lot of time on Piazza. I'm here to help. All right, take care. Thanks, guys.